far from a normal off-season. Does it feel normal now as far as getting back amongst the boys and training and on the eve of the NAB Cup now? Does it feel sort of normal again?
No, well, I suppose it has been a big off-season, but once you start training, the normal sort of process happens and you get back into the routine. So you sort of quickly adjust from last year, and we've been together as a group for about 3.5 months now. So we're very much we know what each other's thinking and how the group's going. So I think we're all pretty much just looking forward to the NAB Cup starting.
A lot of excitement among Bomber supporters about the coaching staff you've assembled. Is there any sense that you have to keep a lid on things? I mean, it is essentially the same playing list. How much can a new coaching staff do over one summer?
Yeah, I don't know how much. I mean, really, the players have to be able to perform at a high level, and that's what we've been focusing on. What we want to do, and I think what the coaching staff are trying to instill in us, is that as long as we improve and we play the way that they want us to, then wins and losses are not so significant. It's more about them instilling the game plan they want us to, and us being able to perform to that way. And if we do that, I think that obviously they like us to win a few more games. But as long as we're doing what they've taught us, then I think they'll be pleased.
How different is the game plan and the philosophy that's been brought in from this set of coaches to the previous set?
Well, I think what it is it's a combination of people from 4 different clubs, really. So we've got 2 guys who were at Geelong at a successful period. The ex-captain of Adelaide, who's brought over their philosophies and his own ideas. Someone who's been at the Bulldogs and at Melbourne as well. So it is, and what you find is that a lot of the stuff that AFL clubs are doing are very similar because of the movement in assistant coaches and players. But I suppose it's a amalgamation of those different philosophies and different ideas and coming up with our own sort of flavour on it. And Hurdy's certainly brought his own ideas to the table.
It's not to dumb it down too much, but a lot's been said about you being perhaps a bit more focused defensively, perhaps, or defensively orientated. Is that the case? Is that what we would see?
Yeah, well, I think that the game has gone to the stage where you've got to be able to be a team that can hold other teams from scoring. And if you have a look at over the last sort of 3 or 4 years, the teams that finish top 4 in goals conceded are normally the ones who play deep into finals. And so the philosophy, from the NFL is defence wins championships, and I think that the same sort of thing applies in AFL. So if you want to compete, if you want to be successful, you've got to be able to hold the other team from scoring, and there's an element of that in our new game plan.
Are you a fan of the 40-minute games in the round 1 of the NAB Cup?
It'll be interesting. I don't know if I'll be backing up for the second game. I think I might just play one and rest up. But the guys, you get to this stage of the year and you need to hit out against other opposition. So I suppose that's what the NAB Cup provides. But it's probably it'll be interesting to see how, for the guys who play in the first game and then have a rest, how their bodies pull up for the second game.
Will you maintain a heavy training load right up to that round 1 of the NAB Cup, or will you back off a bit?
Yeah, no, we want to. You want to try and make sure that you're not too fresh in the NAB Cup. You want to be still be feeling reasonably good June, July. So you tailor your training to do so, and that will probably mean that there'll still be a considerable workload going into early into the season, and then you start to freshen players up when matches mean 4 points.
You play St Kilda in the first round of that NAB Cup. Would you mention to St Kilda players anything about their off-season shenanigans in terms of sledging? Is that something that the club would do?
No, as a player, no, I wouldn't do that. I don't think. I think you concentrate on the game. There's different personalities though on the ground, and you can't expect everyone to follow the same rules. Some guys will get more emotional than others and may say something, but I mean, I can't speak for what other guys will do or what other teams will say. Personally, I don't think it really makes much difference if you say something verbally. It's more about what you're actually doing with your actions.
Have you personally been excited about the events of the off-season? I know it's all off-field, but the people that you brought in, the breath of fresh air, and looking ahead again as skipper, you've been sort of buoyed by what could happen or what people would perceive to be happening in the future?
Yeah, it has been exciting. What it does is you get to a stage in your career and you sort of get sick of you get sick of losing, but you realise that you don't have a lot left in your time in the game. So you try to emphasise every minute you have left in the game and around the club. And certainly the off season has really invigorated a lot of guys. And I think that there is some excitement about the philosophies that new people have brought in, and hopefully if we can implement it to the areas that they want us to, then hopefully that will bring success. But as long as it brings improvement, then that's all we're focused on.
And how conscious are you of the fact the novelty could quickly wear off, I suppose, if the results don't go too well? Not to put a downer on these, but...
No. Living in the reality, the football is very much an emotional game, and people's emotions are governed by wins and losses. So we've just got to try and improve from one week to another.
Do you think you bribed any kids here to become Essendon supporters who weren't already?
I don't know if they've seen so many cameras here before, but I think they're enjoying their time. So as long as we can give back a little bit, we sort of Melbourne, I think, suffered a little bit what rural Victoria has suffered over the past sort of few months. So it's nice to be able to bring a smile to some kids who probably wouldn't get a chance to meet some AFL players.
Jobe, how important is the Bendigo area to the Bombers?
Yeah, well, it's our VFL affiliate, and we're really keen to keep the affiliation going. We understand that rural Victoria, things can be really tough in rural areas, and so I think that if the Bombers, the Essendon Football Club and the Bendigo Bombers can continue their relationship, then it means that we can come out to these kind of areas and hopefully make a difference for a young kid in a classroom.
And what does it mean? What are you doing out here today at Bridgewater Primary?
Oh, we're just spending a little bit of time with the kids. There's been some, obviously some floods in this area, so we had a look at the veggie patch. It's pretty impressive, the veggie garden they got here. So it's just nice to spend a bit of time, and you enjoy the country kids. They really appreciate people coming out and seeing them, and so it means a lot to them.